So right now, I wish to discuss what a lot of people know as the law of attraction. And you could put this in other ways like the law of resonance, the law of mirroring. It's basically this idea that like attracts like, or like frequency, like information, like things attract things that are similar, that resonate with that, right? It's like even in this physical reality, we exist within a certain bandwidth of frequency, the same way that we can only perceive with our eyes a specific bandwidth of frequency, and anything beyond that we can't perceive. Why? Because we are not a match to that reality because of the physical construct that we are currently anchored into as human beings. So, what I want to talk about is the importance of what is known as having a burning desire. So, the importance of having a desire that is deeply moving, deeply emotionally moving, and deeply powerful. And Napoleon Hill talks about this a lot. He talks about this in his book. I think it's called like How to Master Your Own Mind. It's a book. I'm listening to the audiobook right now. And he talks about why it's so important to have a quote-unquote burning desire. And what this does is it impresses the subconscious mind. And now what is spoken about in his book and what other teachers speak about. I'm also reading this book. Excellent book. Highly recommend this book. And The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. And what Wallace D. Wattles talks about, and it's kind of a funny name, but I like his name. What he talks about in that book is how there is a formless intelligence that we impress with our thoughts. And the more powerful our thoughts, and our feelings as well, thoughts and feelings go together hand in hand. The more powerful they are, the more powerfully it impresses this subtle field, this formless field. And whatever we impress upon this formless field is made manifest. It comes into our experience. It's a field of infinite intelligence, and it's indifferent to what you impress it with. That's the thing. It doesn't discern between what you want and what you don't want. It's impartial. It just gives you whatever you're focused upon and whatever you're impressing upon it, right? So, being a human being, we're very multifaceted. We have both conscious thoughts and we have what you could call unconscious thoughts or conditioned patterns running in the background. You could liken this to the language that you use. The language is a program that you run. You don't have to consciously think of all the words that you're saying. Just as I speak right now, I don't have to think of this. It just happens because this program is embedded into the subconscious. So you could think of it like the way that water wears down stone with time, so do conscious thoughts sculpt and mold this subtle field, which in turn creates our reality. So, a lot of people who talk about the law of attraction, they say the thoughts are what is creating reality. That's not necessarily true. It's more like the thoughts are, shifting and molding your energy field, or the subtle field that comprises your being. And then because of that shift, you begin to resonate at a different frequency. You resonate with different information, and that information draws to itself that which resonates with it. So that's more, you could say, of like a deeper way of looking at it, maybe more scientific way of looking at it. But anyway, it's really important to have a burning desire, because the burning desire creates a powerful impression upon the subconscious. When you really, really want something, you're more likely to get it than if you just kind of like wish that you had it, or you kind of like, have just fleeting passing thoughts about it, but it's not that important to you. It doesn't actually move you that deeply. And here's the key. The key is it needs to be very emotionally moving, right? And so in this instance, yes, the absence of that will also create a more powerful negative emotion, but when we can shift out of that and we can focus on the having of it, this is the key. The key is, and I'm sure you've heard this before if you've been into the law of attraction at all, the key is focusing as if you already had what you want. Talks about this in the science of getting rich. Having faith that what you desire is already yours. Having unwavering confidence and faith that it's already your reality. And of course, it can be challenging to do this because we look around and we say, oh, but I don't have it. The problem with this is it keeps recreating that. It just keeps cycling on a repetitive loop. And you could say, it's kind of a downside of this reality construct. And in a way it is. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it kind of sucks. But the thing is when you can master it, then you can really develop creative control over your life. But the key here is to also discover the subconscious conditioning that is creating certain patterns or unwanted things in your life. Because you can think of conscious affirmations till the cows come home, but it's not going to make a difference if you don't actually deal with deeper layers of conditioning and things like traumas, and also the different parts of the psyche and subpersonalities that can create different inner conflicts within your psyche. There's a great branch of therapy called internal family systems that deals with the different parts of the self, and I think that's really powerful too. But the main thing here is just becoming aware of your conditioning, becoming aware of when different programs or parts of your psyche, parts of yourself come to the surface, right? Clearly, human beings don't just have the same static personality. Our personalities change. And in a sense, it's when different programs or different parts of ourselves come to the surface because of specific external stimuli. It triggers different programs or parts of the self or information to come to the surface or to get triggered in the subconscious. The same way when you're using a computer, you click on different programs, it runs that specific program, right? So human beings work very similarly. So to bring awareness to these different programs or subpersonalities, parts of the psyche, and the most important thing here is to get them to work together cohesively. So here we want the conscious mind and the subconscious to work together cohesively. So the more we can do like release work, also known as shadow work, going into different traumas or pains and being with it fully, bringing that presence to the emotion, that unconditional presence, allowing it to process. And what this does is presence transmutes everything into itself, right? It's the organizing principle. If you're perfectly present, if you say you're thinking negatively, feeling negatively, and then you stop, and then you just become perfectly present, all of a sudden your state goes to neutral. Why? Because presence transmutes everything into itself, and it's just that field of peaceful neutrality. It's not positive, it's not negative, it's not this, it's not that, it's peaceful neutrality. So you bring presence to these things, helps to transmute it, and you bring awareness to the different patterns, specifically dysfunctional patterns in the subconscious. The positive functional patterns, that's fine, you can leave that alone. Dysfunctional ones is what we want to address so that we can take this disharmony and transmute it, alchemize it into harmony. And in doing so, we are thereby able to focus consciously, more deliberately, more specifically. We can bring up this burning desire that we have to achieve something. And again, it has to be, we have to make it powerful. It can't just be like a little passing wish or desire or thought. We got to make it very powerful. And then visualize the attainment of it very powerfully. Make it emotionally riveting, right? Make it very emotionally moving. And in doing so, inevitably, the reality of that will come to fruition as long as you don't have any resistance or contradiction in the subconscious or within your being. It will happen inevitably. But you gotta have faith, you gotta envision it, make it as real as possible, and then you have to take conscious aligned action by feeling into what feels most expansive. It's like you got to really get into the subtle sensations and feelings within the body, and that will guide you. It's like you have that guidance system that will guide you in the right direction, but you have to have that burning desire as your North Star, and it will lead you in that direction so long as you move in the direction of those expansive, positive, good feelings. So that's my video for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to live this life from a peak experience. This has been Bodhi with Bodhi Tree Social, and we'll talk again soon. Much love.